Let's do this.
It's about that time.
Pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4. Here we go. Roger.
And on Insights, two eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS, where we always talk the talk.
See, we had to always have something going on. I see our special guest, he was looking at himself slowly come from the side until he got in the middle, because he liked being in the middle, and stop right there. I was sitting there watching them off camera there. Hello, everybody. This is Mickey Clayton, the coach, with my co-host, Rick, the shoot 'em from downtown Brown, your favorite reporter. Oh, now he tried to act like he passed. Now he ain't know nothing about passing. He tried to shoot everything he did.
Now, if you're gonna tell the story, Coach, even though your stories are so great, tell the truth. I mean, my jump shot outside of 7 feet was but the dimes, I gave people dimes.
But you wanted a quarter in return for the dime you gave up.
Well, I did. I mean, shoot, just give me one fast break so I could dunk it. I would be fine for the rest of the day. Yeah, I'm fine. Just one. That's all I need
for the rest of the day. Before we go too far, day the first day of Lent, everybody. Significance of Lent is you put something aside for 40 days to give yourself additional time and space to pray and enhance your relationship with God. That's all I'm just saying now. Understand that it's not just 40 days till Easter. That's what Lent is. You give up something for 40 days, not just chocolate unless you take 20 minutes to eat chocolate. You give up some time in the day to enhance your relationship with Him. I just had to say that.
Amen.
I just had to say that.
Amen.
Hey, I know you miss being in Lakeland. Florida High was in Lakeland today. Fell down early to Tampa Catholic. Had a kid, his big brother's playing in the NBA. His dad was Kevin Knox playing in the NBA. 6'4", sophomore guard, averaging 26 points a game. 5-star recruit. Jumped out early on Florida State. Florida State came back the second half, a whole new ball club, was able to pull off a 3-point win and advance to the championship game on Friday.
Wow. Awesome. Because Tampa Catholic is one of those schools around here they usually go to the White House. So that's a good win for the Tallahassee school up there. Good win.
And it was, they had a big send-off last weekend. Florida High girls went, and they didn't get off. They got off to a slow start, fell down like 20-9 in the first quarter. They cut it down to 8, and they weren't able to pull it off. But those were the two teams that represented this part of the state in the girls and boys was Florida High. And Florida High is now making it to the championship game. And I don't think they've been there since the 2000s have kicked in. I think it was 1963 or something, the last time they won. So that's pretty significant.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
And we're going to do a look back on the high school basketball and what's going on in high school basketball. We've tried a couple times to reach out to some high school football coaches. I don't know what it is that we tend to have more trouble getting them on than we get some of the basketball coaches. Even though Terrell's guy, Corey understands the significance of social media. And he does a lot I like Terrell. Buck's gonna tell you some of the things he's got going. I think you'd be really interested in hearing it. But it's just and that's how I met him in the parking lot golfing. And
You in that golf game.
I'm in there all the time because I ain't got no golf game. So I'm
I was
always
gonna say, is it getting better?
no, I'm losing weight, but my game ain't getting no better.
Well, I mean, it's a plus then. It's a plus. It's a
Yeah,
plus.
helping my health. But we got to move on to another important thing, and that's what that craziness going on in Ukraine. And did you see the clip that they had about the blacks that were trying to leave Ukraine that they wouldn't let get on the train and leave? And somebody asked a question about black athletes in Ukraine. How are they being treated? We already know that, Russia is led by a man who doesn't have them all. And it's a good thing that we have a president in there that has at least able to mend some fences with our European allies that had been almost demolished. Because Russia's not through doing what they do. I don't care what people go by, what they say. They're not through doing what they do. There's some other stuff that's gonna come from that. It's just rough right about now.
It's interesting that you brought up the athletes that are there. I mean, are they trying to get out? I would think everything's shut down now. That one thing about being over here, and we know how they treat how blacks have been treated since coming to America. At the same time, I don't know if there's too many other places I would want to be. There's threats of war. There's blacks get treated like they did in Ukraine, trying to get on planes or trains and trying to get out of there. This world still treats people of melanin different, and I don't understand why. I don't. And until well, I won't see it in my lifetime, probably, unfortunately, but it has to change, Coach. I thought sports could help, and it does in a sense, but it's not enough.
And I don't really know if sports really changes it or if it allows us an avenue to take our mind off of it. For a long time, growing up, what I read was funny when you read the paper and the sports. And I hate to say it, even as an adult, I didn't read the comics as much, but I read the sports. My wife was the one who would tell me, you need to read the news and be more versed in terms of what's going on. But even with the battle that we have an ongoing battle with INSiiGHTS in terms of trying to do things to use INSiiGHTS as a platform to highlight so many of our students, student athletes, former student athletes and coaches, to allow people to see some of the things that they're doing because other media streams don't always do it. And the gentleman today is no example. I mean, he's no exception to that. But we try to make sure that we let people know what we're doing that's positive. And even our Remembering the Legends component, we have, that's with Kristen Ledlow on NBA TV, who's from Tallahassee, and what she's done. But people don't always acknowledge us. And that's why we take the platform that we have very seriously. And I'll give all credit to one of our board members, Earl Hankerson, who met Buck first. And when he came back out, he was like, we were talking to him, he said, man, you need to get on INSiiGHTS and tell people about what you're doing. And I think I had known Terrell for all of 7 minutes and 32 seconds. And Terrell was like, I'd love to. I said, what? And he said, I'd love to. And then we talked about one of the golf pros there. And when I called him and asked him if he heard from Terrell, he said, I've talked to him. That's when I knew that Terrell was serious about what his vision is. People talk about doing a lot of things, but in terms of putting stuff together and actually doing it, is a horse of a different color, you know. And what I do know about the former All-American at Florida State, he was a first-round pick, the number 5 pick in the 1992 draft. You know, well, you know what that means to be one of the top 5 chosen. One of the top, and during a time when we had football players. Now they were busted you. And a cornerback,
Yeah.
he played almost 13 years in the NFL. He's been with the Packers, the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Patriots again, the Jets, the Giants. He's coached at Florida State, safeties assistant, wide receiver assistant, grad assistant, weight room. He's been to Akron, Louisville, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. This young man has quite a resume. And that doesn't even count the things that he's doing as he's trying to propel all these young people to play and get interested in golf at a young age. We welcome to Insights, the Buck, Terrell Buckley.
Thank you, man. That's quite an intro. I appreciate that. That's a lot of stuff. You know, you try to move forward. You try to accomplish some things in life. The main thing is being able to give back. I think all of us are blessed with a skill. And one of those things I always tell my kids, you know, I have 3 girls, that much is given, much is required. And one of those things is it's not fun being in the room alone, having all the power, having all the money, having all the glory. You want to bring some other people along so they can have it. And now they can spread it. And I think that's how you make sports, you make the world, you make everything a better place. You become a better person. Just everything about it, giving back is what it's, for me, is what it's about. And you guys, I heard you guys talking about the basketball game, who I spent a little time with Charlie a couple weeks ago when I was in Tallahassee. Went by and watched them practice. And the reason Florida High is winning is because of Charlie Ward. And then the main reason, the second, is obviously you have to have talent. And I'm watching them practice, and we was in the middle of a conversation, and they was practicing, and somebody ran, they didn't do the pick and roll right, or something. He stopped. He stopped mid-sentence and went over there and made that correction for the team, which is impressive because, you know, that's the same thing I would do. So you see that, and it's like, man, that's pretty impressive of a man of faith like Charlie. That's a great coach, and that's why you know, this show gives opportunity. That a lot of times all you need is opportunity. And you mentioned Kevin Knox. Charlie Ward, Kevin Knox, Tampa Camp is class 89. I don't know if y'all know it. All of us came to Florida State together. And Kevin Knox is one of my golfing buddies as we speak. You know, I have a little tour. We run a little tour called Pro Sports Golf Tour. And we go around for ourselves and play golf and try to play against other guys that take it seriously, that want to test their game, and give you a reason to practice. You know, just like you say, life, you talk about anything you do. If you want to be the very best, you have to put time in. You have to have a great foundation. You have to understand what you're doing, and then you have to go out and test it. And while we're talking about golf, I'm watching the golf tournament this past week. A guy from Florida State, Danny Berger, had a 5-stroke lead with, I want to say, 13 holes left. And he had 2 bad holes, and he couldn't stop the bleed. He ended up finishing 4th. 5-stroke lead. In the pros, if you have a 5-stroke lead, you have 1 or 2 bad holes, you have the ability to make birdies, you can come back. But that 6 inches between your head, and it's amazing watching pros just crumb under pressure when they've been doing this all your life. I I really truly never understood that. Because one or two things gonna happen. Either you get it done or you don't. If you are prepared and you give it 100%, you know, I know you guys have played sport. Everybody said 105, 110%. I personally don't believe in that. I believe in getting 100% all the time. Practice, warm-ups, game. So when I give 100%, I can lay down at night. I can rest easy at night because I know I've given everything I have. And whatever the outcome is, it is what it is. And I think that's, for me personally, why you win. Why I think the Lord has blessed me in a lot of building and all that, but it also blessed me with an attitude that give it your all. Once you do that, you move on and you go to something else. So, and that's where the Terrell Buckley Foundation comes in. I think golf is one of the most beautiful culturally activity sports that you can do, skill set that you can attain. And I wish I would have been a golfer, played, at least been introduced to the game at an early age. Who knows what happened besides the baseball and the football and the track. You guys forgot the track. And it was 14 years, not almost 13 years. Just correcting a little bit. And 50 interceptions, but who's counting, right? You know, just production, Hall of Fame numbers. But the foundation, back to the more serious thing, the foundation, I've done a lot of different things, football camps, fed children, you know, all the community stuff, bought vans. I'm an honorary member of the Boys and Girls Club. And I come to the point where, you know what, let me help something that can change lives, can change family lives. And it's not just football, it's not just basketball, it's not just baseball, not just track. There's something else, an activity out there. Tennis is another one, and golf. And I have a passion for helping and giving back. And the foundation is one of those things about foundation, growth, structure, hard work equals success, whether it's on the golf course, on the classroom, or in the board, in the corporate America, whatever it might be. Golf will give you that opportunity if you put the time in. And it's something that I think our youth that we haven't touched. And I want to be able to provide that opportunity for a bunch of young kids of introduction or introducing to something. I think that's to me, that's life. If you just introduce and give somebody this opportunity to see something different, who knows what'll happen. I think the sky will be the limit.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. How did you get into golf?
It was Brian Cox. Believe it or not, Brian Cox, one of my teammates, the Miami Dolphins were having a charity event and with some of the sponsors. And that's where the golf is money. Money sponsors, like what you guys are doing right now, sponsorship. So it was like, man, we need somebody to come out and play golf with us. Went out there. I think I had jeans on, you know, no golf etiquette. We playing at one of those top golf courses. And I'm playing with some guys that are not athletes. Athletically, you look at them, and I couldn't hit the ball. I'm watching them hit it. Not too much better now. They've been playing for 15, 20 years. And I felt a little trash talking coming my way about, man, you know how tough the sport was, how tough the game was, right? And I'm like, yes, it is tough. But until you've been in my shoes, lining up on 3rd and 2 on Monday Night Football in front of the greatest football player, in my opinion, Jerry Rice, 3-by-1 formation, your teammates know he's going to get the ball. Steve Young, the quarterback. The fans know he's going to get the ball. And you got to stop the greatest football player ever. Now, you want to talk about pressure and a tough game? So I took that mentality and said, you know what? I'm not going to do like everybody else. I'm not just going to come out here and just tear the earth or turf, duff the ball, do all that thing. I'm going to learn how to play this game because nobody ever talk to me like that again or try to make fun of me in a game. And I know you're not athletic or you're not an athlete. And you trying to talk trash to me? Are you kidding me? One of the best athletes? No. So I'm about to go get me some lessons. I'm about to start preparing. And I started, that's kind of how it started for me. And it's grown from there.
Okay. And I think when we talked, you told me that you've already implemented this program in a couple of states already. Would you tell us about it?
Well, the program is wherever I'm at. Tallahassee is one. Obviously, I love Tallahassee. That's where I went from the general high school name to T-Buck. And where I'm from, Gulf Coast, Mississippi, Pascagoula, Goshen area, and Georgia, where I'm currently residing. And so the program basically is trying to get as many, the age, I didn't want to put an age on it, but that 5 to 7, 8 years old, finding an instructor that would take these young men and women, or young girls and boys, and teach them the game of golf. And I take care of clubs, lessons, all that. All the parents have to do is get them there and make sure we have an organized schedule and get the lessons. And in these 3 states, the goal is to have as many as possible, but somewhere between 16 and above. I would like a whole mixture, 8 girls, 8 boys, anywhere from 5, like I say, 4 to 7, 5 to 7, 8, in that range, that want to add something else besides football, like I said, ballet, gymnastics. It's something else to add to what you're doing.
Okay. Well, let me change just a little bit. I need to bring it to everybody's attention. I mean, you've had 11 Florida State Seminoles that had their number retired.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 cornerbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Sanders is one, and the second one was the Book.
That's right.
How did you feel when they honored and retired your number?
I mean, obviously awesome. I think it's one of those things you have to understand. When I first went to Florida State, and 2 reasons why, or 3. Obviously, Deion set the standard. And you come back and Mick Andrews, who's the defensive coordinator, who was also the DB coach and my recruiter. And then you had, obviously, the beloved Bobby Bowden. And I had went to camp there that summer. And so I fell in love with the camp. I fell in love with the atmosphere. And Deion had just been drafted, the 5th pick. And again, like he said, he asked Detroit so much money, they got to put him on layaway if they drafted him, right? So I love that atmosphere. I loved all that. In my mind, I'm like, okay, if this is the best corner in the country, and Coach Bowden has said the best athlete he had ever seen, and the same guy that coached him is recruiting me and going to coach me, and I want to be the best, I want to get the most out of my ability, why would I go anywhere else? So going to that school, going to Florida State, looking at the rule books, first thing I always do, look at the rules, right? Look at the numbers. What do I have to do to be the very best or mention with the very best? So I look at the punt return numbers, what I do, I look at the interceptions, I look at the defensive stats, and slide right in. And what I told you guys earlier, my attitude was, I am the guy, and I love what Deion did, right? Nobody could be Deion. I think Deion is arguably, there's only one other person, maybe Bo Jackson, but probably the best athlete ever. We can do it all. And now you slide in there and like, okay, how can I measure up against that? And you do the same things. You put yourself in the same category and you start producing. And the attitude is kind of like, I look at one of the guys, I love Michael Jordan. I love Dominique Wilkins, my favorite basketball player growing up. And the difference between Mike and Dominique, in my opinion, was Mike in big games, obviously won championships. And in the big games, he was consistently producing. Dominique would have some ups and downs. And now you look at LeBron, who's so consistent. So I want to be a person that brought that, whatever my weaknesses were, brought them up to above average, like Michael Jordan and Dominique. And then whatever I did the best, whatever good Lord blessed me was strength-wise, really hammer that home. And I still do not believe I reached my potential because of the defense. My strength was I understand football. I was a smart player. I understood tendencies. And the Lord gave me an ability to go get it. And I had ice in my veins, still have ice in my veins. So I wasn't afraid to succeed, which means obviously you don't make all the plays, you don't do all the stuff, but I played hard and fearless, and I played smart. But for a super athlete, they don't give you that credit. You're like in coaching. Personally, I feel like I should be a head coach by now, right? So I've been a corner coach for 15 years with the same attitude. But when everybody, what you say, they look at you, heard you guys talking earlier, as, well, he's just a cornerback coach. That's not true. If I was a quarterback, probably been a head coach, and they would have been talking about how smart I was. Because I know formation. You listen to the TV, you listen to Tony Romo talking about formations and all that. Well, there are a bunch of cornerbacks that understand that too. Who has to know the quarterback? Mm-hmm. The guy that's defending him. Who has to know the receivers? The guy that he's covering, that's covering him. And then you have to set that edge sometime too. So a cornerback, a smart cornerback, understands not just cornerback play, not just defense, but offense, sees the bigger picture. And I personally think that allowed me to make a bunch of plays at Florida State. If I would have stayed, if the Lord would have blessed me and blessed my family with a little money, I wouldn't have left school early. I would have stayed another year, and I would own every record in college ball as far as the cornerback perspective. That was my attitude. And in the NFL, if I could have played in a zone blitz type defense, even though I was a bump and run corner, Lord bless me with bump and run ability, man to man, lock you down, need no help, right? But my strong suit was reading, playing off, knowing who I'm covering, knowing you line up in this formation, you can only run 2 routes. And I got a front that's bringing that heat, and that quarterback has happy feet, and you're going to throw this 1 route, and I'm going to go get it. I would have another 20 picks. I'd have 70 picks at corner, pure corner. Not like Charles Woodson, who played corner, who played nickel, who played safety. They wouldn't allow me to play safety. They said I was too small. I'm like, I can play free safety. I ain't fitting in that box now. I ain't getting in that box. Hey, I ain't getting down there with them big boys, but you put me in the middle of the field like Ed Reed, please. Ed Reed used to, people don't realize this too. If you go look at the great player, Ed Reed's example, he got all his interceptions. He was on one side of the field, he ended up on the other side of the field because he understood and understands the quarterback is looking at you, trying to get you to stay on your side, but he's going to throw back away from you. If you understand that and you got some guts, ice in your veins, I say, that's easy. It becomes easy then.
Well, tell me this. What would you say to students that are listening to this and will listen to it What would you say to them for those who, to help them, motivate them to follow their dream, whatever that is? What would you say to them, Terrell?
Understand what your dream is. Create a foundation for that dream, whatever that is. Well, if you want to be an engineer, one of my daughters is an engineer. It takes what? Math. Get the basic fundamentals of math. Understand all the algorithms and whatever you want to understand. Build a foundation for whatever you want to accomplish, that dream is, and then go for it. And don't listen to naysayers. Don't be afraid to succeed. Don't be afraid. In the process, if you go right 5 steps and that's wrong, that don't mean you stop going right. You might should have went 3 steps. That's how I look. Always look to improve. Okay, 5 steps is too much. Let me see if I go 3 steps. Okay, that ain't good enough. Well, let me go 7 steps. Eventually, you're gonna get them steps right. And then once you connect that dot, you start moving to the next one. My whole thing is in the book of life. The book of life have chapters, right? Once you reach one goal and one dream in one chapter, you start to the next one. And that's all I do. I close and I just keep moving. I keep moving because I'm setting new goals. I'm still challenging myself to improve as a Christian, as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a golfer, whatever it is, I'm trying to improve.
Well, what would you say to those who have a tendency to let naysayers affect them and get down on themselves?
Well, you said it's Lent. I think it's finding yourself and realizing that those naysayers probably are not doing a whole lot, and they want you to stay where they're at so y'all can keep complaining about the same thing. I have some family members. I have some people that I haven't seen. I can go a decade without visiting them or talking to them. And I can go right back in. We can start a conversation, and in 10 minutes, it's feel like I've been there for the whole time because they're not moving. And my family knows, don't come around me with that. Not because I have a nickname, not because I'm T-Buck, not because I've been this NFL player, this Hall of Fame, got jersey retired, all that's not because that. Because my mindset is, if you're not moving forward, if we're not doing anything positive, then I'm the wrong one. And they know I don't play that.
You said something there that's very valid and very credible. We always talk about the fact that you have people, each one of us have had people around us that are close, some family members, that if they can put an obstacle in your way, they'll do it. And you can't let those people with negative thoughts and ideations steal your dream. And I heard Steve Harvey say, the baby would have a dream if y'all stop trying to spend so much time taking the dream away from the baby.
Yes.
You know.
And that's reading. I think that's educating yourself. You got so much movie. You got Netflix. You got all these great movies out here, history movies of everything for us. Like you guys was talking about coming over and how are we assimilating? Are we moving forward? I think if you educate yourself and really think about what am I trying to get out of life? Am I trying to be happy or I'm trying to be joyful? Well, I'm a joyful person. Being happy, in my opinion, is what happenings. You know, something good happened to you, I'm happy. Well, for me, I want to be joyful. That means what you see right now is what you're gonna get. You know, I'm a Gemini. I go hard. I let you know, and my preparation allows me to be successful. So when I quote unquote get something like, oh man, I'm so happy for you, I expect that. And then if it doesn't happen, okay, that's just a little side road. I'm about to keep pushing because I expect this to happen. I don't know the timetable. I expect to go out there and shoot 66, 65, 66, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive days. It hasn't happened yet, but I am preparing for that day, those days. And you guys are going to see me on the senior tour. I'm expecting that. If it doesn't happen, you know. So,
well, when you make that happen, you let me know, and we'll have you on again, so we can talk about you being on the PGA Senior Tour.
Well, I'm in the preparation right now. That would be the Senior Tour. That PGA is one of those, I guess now it's called it. It wasn't the Champions Tour. I think they just changed the name of that. But I study the seniors. This is for young people. Middle school, high school. I watch the Golf Channel. I study the Seniors Tour. I know the distance they play for. I know the golf courses they play. I know who's playing, who's the best player right now. Barnhart Longer is the best player. He's 64 years old. He's won 43 tournaments. He's getting better. He's in the best shape of his life. I know what makes him good. And then I know what the other guys that are not successful, I know what they're doing. So I am preparing for that, and I'm trying to instill that in my game.
Okay. That would be the Buck. Now, I have to comment on one other thing. You know, it seems as if a lot of you guys, that your teammates at FSU, that y'all are still close. Explain that a little bit.
Well, it's a family, man. Like I know you mentioned Boucher, Corey Fuller. We all have nicknames. Used to be Skeletor because he was freaking ripped. I don't know if you seen that thing. A guy had like 12 pack. Strong. Dion, Leroy Butler just went in the Hall of Fame. Lawrence Dawson, who's my roommate. Shannon Baker, who's still in Tallahassee. It can go on and on. The list goes on and on. Bar none, Tony Carter, some of the guys. When you work as hard as we work, and Coach Andrews them put you through what they did, everybody know how you feel. I still talk to Antonio Camarda, Vince Williams, those guys, and it's like a family, right? Because everybody can tell them same stories about that going in goal, bleeding going in goal, how hard we work, and then just trying to help each other. I was talking to Ernie Sims 2 days ago, and I was telling Ernie, he's in the coaching. He's down in South Florida right now. One of the nice, up-and-coming, smart, big-time coaches. Ernie Sims, I can keep going. Tony Carter, Tony Camardi, all these guys are up-and-coming coaches that need to be given a shot. And I told my job, because I've been in it, and I'm towards the end, is to help you elevate and go above me. And if your goal is not to be the DC, the head coach, the athletic director, we're going to still be boys. We're going to still be tight, but don't call me about nothing else because it's all about elevation. And I think it must be some water in Tallahassee, but all of us are still tight. All of us still connect. We get together. And I forgot to mention, Derek Brooks is another one that I hang out with. We play a lot of golf with. And we try to uplift one another and move forward. Warwick Dunn, I'll talk to all these guys. I can keep going on and on, but I think it's something in the water, and we try to actually help each other move forward, move past what I've accomplished. I want somebody else to be even better.
Wow, you dropped us some knowledge there, but I knew you would.
We try.
Rick, you got anything you want to ask before we close? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do actually. Okay, T-Buck, I need to know. You went from the general to T-Buck.
Yes.
How did that transform? How did that transpire?
Well, I was a general in high school. I was, in the man. State records. We winning state championships, just doing it all over here in Mississippi, right? And so I get to Florida State, and I had a towel on that's saying the general. And you got guys like John Davis, who's in Tallahassee now, that's Secretary of State. Now he big time now. He big time. He big timers now. So John Davis, Class 89, one of the comedians of the group, and he was like, "Nah, you cannot give yourself a nickname." I'm like, "Nah, we're not. Nobody's calling you the general." So I lost because of them. I lost the general title, and it was a couple other names that came up, and one that I guess made sense was T-Buck. So instead of being Alexander the Great, it's just T-Buck. It just hey, we had a lot of fun, and that probably came about when we was playing spades. We had a big spade. Everybody over there at Burt Runners could play spades, so that's why all the trash talk and everything really, really got heated. And you better pick the right partner. If you lost in spades, you might not get a game because that thing lasts about 4 or 5 hours. So the general to T-Buck kind of went like that. Was like them guys like, we're not calling you the general. You who you think you are? You Mississippi. I'm from Pahokee. I'm from the muck, and we're gonna call you what we want to call you.
That's right. That's right. One more. You mentioned with the foundation in the golf
Yes,
that you were shooting for the younger agers, the 4 to 7, 5 to 8 year olds. Why that particular age?
because now you're not setting your mindset, and most guys, most people, they want to play the popular sports. They want to play basketball. They want to play football. They want to run track. And then the parents truly don't understand it either. I think the benefits of the golf and learning, not just in the end, if you are good enough and being on the PGA Tour, from flying private jets and staying at this 5-star rent, the money you can make, but the influence, the exposure you can get from different people. You meet different people. You got different athletic people out there, and it just brings a whole nother perspective into the household, into your life. And that's what I'm about, bringing different stuff. And it's not just the same old stuff. The same old sports, the same old attitude. And that's from personal experience. Coming to Florida from Mississippi, you really don't realize, I didn't realize until I went back that, my mindset had changed because I had Shannon Baker, who's from Lakeland, Florida, John Davis from the MUC. You have Charlie from Georgia. We had Carruthers from Michigan. You have all these different entities, all these different folks from different walks of life. Casey Weldon from Tampa. And everybody has different stories and different ways that they made it. And I started visiting Lawrence Dawson from Dothan. So you start going to Dothan. You start going to South Florida. You start going to Lakeland. You go to different places, and a couple teammates from Texas. And you get to see all these different. And it's like, man, it is nice. And then you lose your accent. People don't realize I'm from Mississippi.
You lose your accent.
They like, man, you don't sound country. I thought you was from Florida. I'm like, nah, I'm from the Gula.
Oh, because they picked at you with that accent now.
A little bit.
Okay.
They started with some of the words, some of the words we can't pronounce. So I stopped even trying. You're like, okay, I know I can't say that word, so let me find the other word to say. Because when I say that word, boy, it's on. Let me figure out another way to say that. So it was a great experience. Obviously, I wouldn't change it for the world. At Florida State, a couple of things I wish I would have caught a few more picks. I wish we would have had the playoffs. We could have had a few more national championships. And then we could have truly been the best decade or team ever in college football, that little run we had, if with a few more championships. What they talking about Alabama doing, we did that. The only difference, Alabama got national championships because of the playoff system.
Well, man, we appreciate you taking so much time to drop so much knowledge. We definitely have to have you back. I mean, we just only touched like a thumbnail version of all the different things you have your fingers in. Yeah. And you see, you keep getting comments. Sylvia Thomas, Michelle Buckley, Sports Diva, people giving you a shout out and commenting on the show and what you're saying. supportive they are of the things that you
Yes.
said. And,
That's the family.
one of the things we do, and one of the things we do is that we're capturing these interviews, and it's up there for all of eternity. Your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will be able to see what's up there and see what their dad and granddad has done and is trying to do.
Well, that's awesome. I got family in Tallahassee. My wife, Michelle, family, Sylvia, they live in Tallahassee. They from Tallahassee area. You got Quincy, you got all that stuff. So I want to send a shout out to the Thomas family and everybody there. I appreciate the support, and I love you guys. And thanks for watching, tuning in. And my kids, I'm sitting in my living room now. My eldest daughter, I'm in Houston. My middle daughter turned 24 yesterday. Right.
Congratulations.
So I have 3 girls, Sherelle, Brown, and Brittany. We played golf yesterday, 36 holes. And all 3 of them beat me. All 3 of them now, I remind y'all, all 3 of them played college golf too now.
Okay.
Let me remind the audience. And they hit I've never seen them hit it that good. And I lost some money yesterday too. But like I told them, it was a learning experience. I will see them in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna come back out and we're gonna finish this.
Rick, what he didn't tell you is they played 9 holes, they beat him. He played 9 more holes, they beat him. That's how they end up with 36 holes. They start off at 9. And like Michael Jordan, he wouldn't let him leave until he got a chance to get his money back.
Hey, till I realized, like, okay, they're not going anywhere. Let me get out of here before I lose all my money.
That's what's up.
Isn't it? That really is. And again, we appreciate you being with us. We really do. We have a segment. You need to stay in touch with us because we're going to have a segment coming up here in a couple weeks that you probably want to see.
Okay.
Here's just an example of what it is that we have coming up right here. And it's a weekly segment for us. Talking about a young lady who made it from home. It's a home-time girl who's done well. Kristen would be it. She attended North Florida Christian High School after going to Christian Community School here in Tallahassee. She played basketball and volleyball. Was very good in both. Don't take her prettiness for weakness. She would bust you with an elbow in your mouth, talk junk to you, step over you, and go down the floor. As her dad told her, Roger Ledlow, 3 counts more than 2, so he made sure she shot 3s and taught her to follow through. She was at NFC when NFC was developing a real good program, one of the better teams in the state of Florida. She attended Southeastern University in Lakeland. She majored in broadcasting communications while minoring in business. She graduated in 2010 and was an All-American volleyball player. Then she would turn around and be an announcer on the men's game. One of her first jobs, she was an anchor at WTXL TV, and she hosted the Good News Show. First person she interviewed on the Good News Show, her AAU coach, Mickey Clayton. Yep, me, not my daughter, MICK&RICK, Mickey Clayton, but me. And she was talking junk then. I always remember, even then, the weathercaster said, Kristen, could you really play basketball? She said, ask my coach. He's had me since 6th or 7th grade. He'll tell you. I said, man, that's a young lady you don't want to go outside and play with. She was a sideline reporter for FSU football games, CBS Sports Radio, internship with ESPN. Then she was hired by NBA TV as a host for NBA Inside Stuff alongside former NBA player Grant Hill. You've seen her on TV. You've seen her. She really pushes people, especially the young ladies who are interested in doing it. She pushes them to follow your dream. She says, don't take no for an answer. Don't take no for an answer, and keep going. one of the things you can't forget is she didn't get her craft just because she was attractive. She was well-spoken and had experience. Being a former athlete has a certain amount of respect given to athletes because they played the game. She played the game, so she knew the things to ask and the things to stay away from. But she also interned in college in Orlando and LA. Kristen Ledlow, we're very proud of your success. She's a young lady whose accomplishments cannot be forgotten and overlooked by any. Comes from a real good family background. And talking about Roger Ledlow, her dad, motorcycle rider. Mom was a beauty queen and cheerleader. It runs in the family between Kristen and her sister. We wish you a lot of luck and continued success in your career. Kristen Ledlow from Tallahassee, Florida, remembering the legend. Just something that we try to do to make sure people remember how people are doing, what they're doing, and then when you see them, they're the same people that stayed next door to you, that you saw play in high school or saw somewhere else. Interesting story I got to tell you about her dad, Roger Ledlow, the motorcycle rider, also a chiropractor. We're in Cottondale. Somehow as the game goes down, my 9th grade daughter gets fouled with 1 second left on the clock. They down 3 points in Cottondale Gym, 9th grade. Winning, she's bad as you, but winning is imperative to her. You got daughters out here 3-2 exactly. So if they don't win, boy, you know, Dad, you know, gotta console them for a long way. So all I'm doing while she's in the free throw line with 1 second left here, we got an hour drive to get home. She's gonna try to jump out the car going home. So that's all I'm thinking of. Right? So the coach did what every coach would do. He took a timeout to ice her. So she came up. She was like 1 for 5 from the free throw line that night. She hit the first one. They down 2. He takes another timeout. She goes back to the free throw line. Now, for some reason, I'll never understand, the Cottondale Gym was like you had sprayed ether. It was deadly quiet. It was no way you could have been in one of our gyms playing and the game was that close and they not standing up, damn near throwing stuff at you. She hits the second free throw. They down 1 second left. He takes another timeout. She goes to the free throw line. She hit all 3 free throws to send the game into overtime as a 9th grader with 1 second on the clock. Kristen Ledlow's dad sitting right in front of us, the lone white guy in the gym, jumps up. That's my daughter. The whole gym turns around and looks at Kristen's dad, right? And he said, "Yep, I said that. I said it. I know what I said." And sat back down. I mean, that's the cloth that she come from. They good people. Her I said it. I said it. What, y'all got something to say about it? Y'all got something to say about it? That's my daughter. He sat back down. I said, he gonna get her ran out of Cottondale. And we ended up winning the overtime, went to the state championship and won. So I understand what it is about about having the daughters and being close and all of that. But Kristen and her family, you know, we real close to them, and they're a special breed, and she is too on NBA TV. And we just want to take a minute to remind people of what she's done. So don't be surprised here real soon if you see her remembering the legend component. It says the book.
There you go. Hey, I appreciate you guys for having me on, and I'll be remiss too. I have another daughter that plays golf. I just got married, so I have a daughter that plays at Cypress, Campbell High School in Georgia. When you talk about hard work, and she was about ballerina.
And we lost you.
Okay.
Well,
CC's her name, Sierra's her name, and the hard work is paying off. Hopefully they can do very good this year in golf. She has a shot. So that's the golf story. Appreciate you guys. I love to come back when she come on, listen to you guys. We appreciate you.
Thank you,
good luck to you. The buck doesn't stop here. It keeps rolling.
Keep rolling. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Appreciate it.
That's a good piece.
That's a good piece, Coach.
That
Good piece.
was a good piece, and he has support from his family on, which I just always think is great to be able to come on and show your love to, especially the wife and daughters to come on. You know, we appreciate that. We'll push it, you know, get it out some more, but we will have him back. He got some stuff going on with him. I mean, we didn't even touch about his assistant coach responsibilities when he was at Mississippi and Mississippi State, and you know, he got some things to share, and his relationships with his teammates. I mean, I've already had stuff come in on my phone from some of his teammates, and I just think that's exemplary, you know, for them. People always, when you go to a program, they always talk about it being family. Well, okay, when you play together, that's one thing. But when time has gone on 20, 30 years and you still in contact with these people.
And still doing stuff with them. Yep.
Yeah. And you know the family, you know the wife and kids, and you know the grandkids and that, you know, and when you meet one of the kids and grandkids, you know, it was like that at FAMU. Don't get me wrong. You know, it was like that at FAM. But that's one of the things that I really admire and love about the coaches and teams that stay together and reach out and still support each other.
Agreed. And one other thing about Christian, was she in DC for a minute?
She's been a bunch of places.
Because my mother hit me up. It's funny. Wow, hit me up and was talking and said, I thought I was watching ESPN. I don't know why I was on ESPN, but I was watching ESPN. I thought I saw this person that used to be up here in DC. And I was like, who, Ma? And it was Kristen Ledlow. And I was like, and then I didn't know she was from Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
So and played back, and I love what say she hit you in the nose,
hit you in the mouth with an elbow,
mouth, hit you in the mouth,
to you, and step over you and go down the floor. Come on now, her dad a little crazy too. I mean, see that you know, and her mom just as pretty and feminine, and her dad was borderline cuckoo boy. He spent a lot of time with his daughters, and they backed off of nobody. You know, and I always, you know, when she interviewed me, her first interview was with her coach, and it was important. I told the station manager, I said, one of the things how she's going to be successful is athletes respect other athletes, and because she's a female, she'll be able to ask questions that the average female may not be able to ask because she actually played the sport and played at a high level. So when she asks about different things, they'll know that she knows what she's asking about, and they don't have to educate her on it. I mean, she's played in the celebrity game, at the NBA All-Star game.
Right.
Also robbed at gunpoint in Atlanta. Big story on them. As she said, were waiting on her to get out the car. Unfortunately, she survived that incident. But she's been through some things. But she's a Tallahassee native, and she has represented well everywhere she's been. And we appreciate it. I said, she bust you in the mouth. Didn't mean nothing to her. We had a pretty good AAU team. A lot of the girls were played at North Florida Christian. They always were. We had a kind of attractive team. I remember one time we were playing, NFC was playing somebody, and we got out the car, my wife and I said, well, these guys going in the gym. I said, their parents, mom and dad, dropping them off. They going in. She said they going in there, talk to them girls, your daughters and the rest of them. I said, oh, let them make sure they see Coach Clayton walk up in here. Because teams took them light because they were so prissy. And after they got through playing, they were putting their earrings on and getting their hair straight and going out the door. I said, you know what? Y'all not walking too far in front of me. Y'all going to be right here close to me. I got my eye on y'all. My eye on y'all. I know I had to get two of them one time. They were going on the other side at the FAMU game. They were crossing in the north end zone. You could walk through there. And I said, wait, where y'all going? Oh, we going on the other side. I said, not till you close up that blouse some more. Coach, my mom ain't say nothing. You in 10th grade. You not ready to go over there with them college students. If you don't go, I said, tell you what, I got your mama phone number right here. Let me call. No, coach, you don't need to call. I said, you don't listen to what I'm telling you. You know, no. So people underestimate them, and they roll pretty good. They really do. They roll pretty good.
Oh my goodness.
Well, Rick, man, I appreciate you as always. We're gonna wrap this up and get ready for next week. And as always, we appreciate all of y'all support. It's Lent, first day of Lent.
Stay up to date with the latest from Insights. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle, INSiiGHTS.com.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of MAC4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of MAC4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of MAC4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.
I appreciate you as always, my brother.
All right, bro. Thank you.
See y'all next week.